Hi YouTube, it's Peggy Lu Who, and this is Peggy Lu Who Reads, or Peggy Lu Who Reads. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome for the very first time. A special shout out and a big thank you to my, as of recording this, 32 subscribers, including my mom. Aloha, mama. Yeah, I'm doing this a little bit different. I'm standing up. Two reasons. Number one, I thought it might help me fake some energy that I don't have if I was standing. And number two, I actually have a big pile of books right here. So the chair that I normally stand on is being repurposed as a shelf. And I'm also trying something different where I have sort of scripted some of this, and that is also over here on my laptop. So let's see how that goes. This is going to be the MidYear Freakout Tag. So MidYear Freakout Tag is a tag that has been going around booktube for a while, and most booktubers do it around the end of June, beginning of July, really digging into what are our thoughts about the books we've read to date and what we're planning on reading as we head into the end of the year. And there are, as per usual with tags, a series of questions. I'm going to leave the questions down in the description. If you would like to respond to any of these questions yourselves and give your answers, please do so in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are for some of these prompts and what some of your favorite books this year to date are, or what you're looking forward to that might be coming out, or what you're looking forward to just reading towards the end of the year. But before I get into all of that, I'm going to go off topic completely and discuss something that arrived in the mail today, which is this lovely, lovely book. And this is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. And the reason why this is noteworthy, why I'm excited about it and wanted to talk about it, is that this is an ARC. So an ARC is an advanced reader copy, and this one I actually won from a Goodreads sweepstakes. If you're not familiar with Goodreads, Goodreads is like a book review and social networking site for book lovers. So that is where I keep track of all of the books that I would like to read in the future, as well as all the books that I'm currently reading, as well as all the books that I have read. It is a great way to connect with your friends and see what they're reading and keep up with them, and also your other booktubers. You can follow me on there and see where I'm at any given moment, and so it's a lot of fun. I am not gonna lie, it just really creates a lot of FOMO all the time because I see what everybody else is reading and wish that I could just spend a lot more time with my head buried in a book, but we'll get there someday. So yeah, I entered this sweepstakes and won. I've entered several of these and have not won, so I was really excited, and it arrived in the mail today. And this is Inti Flynn arrives in Scotland with her twin sister Aggie to lead a team of biologists tasked with reintroducing 14 grey wolves into the remote Highlands. She hopes to heal not only the dying landscape, but Aggie too, unmade by the terrible secrets that drove the sisters out of Alaska. Inti is not the woman she once was either, changed by the harm she's witnessed, inflicted by humans on both the wild and each other. Yet as the wolves surprise everyone by thriving, Inti begins to let her guard down, even opening herself up to the possibility of love. But when a farmer is mauled to death, Inti knows where the town will lay blame. Unable to accept her wolves could be responsible, Inti makes a reckless decision to protect them. But if the wolves didn't make the kill, then is something more sinister at play. So it's kind of sounds like a little bit like of a mystery with maybe some romance, and it's got two sisters. It's set in the Highlands of Scotland, but the two sisters are from Alaska. So this sounds like there is a lot going on, and I want to know more about it forthwith. So the deal with ARCs is advanced reader copies are sent out to usually a bunch of people who do book reviews. A lot of booktubers actually get arcs sent to them by publishers because publishers want them to talk about the books before they come out on their channels and give reviews. Frequently on booktube, you'll hear booktubers say, I was sent this book as an arc by the publisher for an honest review. And so this, obviously, I won this in a sweepstakes. I am not a big enough of a channel that anyone is sending me arcs to review just yet. I think I need a little more than 32 of you, although I love each and every one of you. And so I'm going to take this moment just to say, if you're not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing. If you have been around for a while, you know that I started this channel just for fun, and I still stand behind that, but it's also good to have goals. And so my goals for this YouTube channel are to get to a point where people are sending me books for free. So if you want to help me get there, please subscribe, please continue to watch these videos, share them with your friends, like them if you like them, etc. That will help me get to my goal of someday being a big enough booktuber that I will get free books. That is all I want out of this. And also to have a lot of fun while I'm at it. Switch in game plan. I am adding this to my TBRs for the month of July because I would like to go ahead and read it and get it reviewed as quickly as possible. And, you know, maybe in doing so, encourage folks to go out and buy this and possibly convince the publisher that I am a good investment for sending arcs to, and they will send me more. Thank you very much. And with that, let's get into these prompts for the MidYear Freakout Tag. Question number one. Question number one is best book you've read so far in 2021. So this is a book that I read before I started my booktube channel, so you probably have not heard me talk about it yet unless you're one of my friends or follow me on Goodreads and saw my updates as I was reading this, or talked to me anytime in the month after I read it when I couldn't shut up about it. The best book I've read so far in 2021 is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is a novella that is by Amal El-Matar and Max Gladstone. And so basically the gist of this story is that there are these two agents that are on opposing side of a time war, and this is a war that is going on throughout all of space and time. And one of the agents is known as Red and the other is known as Blue. And basically the structure of this novel is that for each chapter, it details one of the agents going on one of their missions, and at the end of the mission, they realize that they have been thwarted by the other agent on the other side and left a message. And they actually grow to be friends and rethink their priorities as they experience fighting on opposite sides of the time war. And I'm not gonna lie, the first thing that intrigued me about this is that it did remind me of Doctor Who. Also, a thing that's cool about this is that the two authors switched off. So one author wrote the chapters for Blue and one author wrote the chapters for Red. And it's a novella of under 200 pages, so if you're looking for something that's like a quick read, fantasy sci-fi type of thing, this is a great book. I cannot stop talking about it, and after I finished reading this, I added it to my favorite bookshelf, and this is actually my 8th favorite book. I already read it once this year, so I'm not going to include it in the rereading my favorite books challenge, but this is sort of what inspired me to want to do that, because as I was putting this onto the physical shelf that is my favorite bookshelf, I thought, I have been meaning to reread all of these books. This should be the year that I do it. So we have this book to thank for my upcoming thoughts on Jane Austen and Winnie the Pooh. The next question, question number 2, is what is the best sequel you've read in 2021? Now, if you've been hanging out here for a while, you've heard me bemoaning the fact that I keep picking up these books and not realizing that they're the first in a series, and then I'm reading a series, and how I was trying to avoid reading series. So yeah, that is not a new thing. I had been avoiding trying to start series for some time, so I actually haven't read any sequels in quite a while because I hadn't read any first books in quite a while. So I don't have an answer for this one. So question number 3 is new releases that you haven't read yet, but that you're looking forward to reading. And both of the books that I chose, because I couldn't make up my mind between the two, for this prompt are books that I got through Book of the Month Club. Again, not sponsored by Book of the Month Club, but in addition to wanting to get free ARCs, I wouldn't mind if Book of the Month would go ahead and sponsor me. Again, I am much too small for them to feel that that is worth it, but I would be an excellent spokesperson for Book of the Month. And if you're interested in trying Book of the Month, as per always, my referral link is down in the description for this video. If you use my referral link to sign up for Book of the Month, you'll get your first month for $9.99, and I will get credits that I can use to get more books for myself, and I would appreciate it. But I am not sponsored by Book of the Month. I just can't shut up about them. So the 2 books that I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted to use for this prompt that I'm looking forward to that are new releases this year are Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, who was the author of The Martian. This is his new book. That is the same The Martian that was turned into the movie starring Matt Damon. I have not read that book, but I hear good things about it, and I will someday. But I liked the movie. And then the other is Alex McLady's The Maidens. So The Maidens is actually a sort of dark academia book that is set at Cambridge University. So fun fact, I am second generation American born on my maternal grandmother's side. And so my grandmother was from Cambridge, England. So when I saw that this was set at Cambridge University, that made me want to read it even more. So I grew up hearing about Cambridge all the time, and I thought as a young kid, when I didn't understand everything and how the world worked, that since my grandmother was from Cambridge, that meant that I could go to Cambridge University, which I did not. But it is a wonderful university. But it's kind of a mystery where there is a woman who believes that this classics professor is a murderer. It also involves a secret society that is the Maidens, which is a female student secret society. And so I am looking forward to reading this sometime this year. The next question is, what is my most anticipated release for the remainder of the year? And this is a nonfiction by one of my favorite actors and follows on social media. It is the follow-up to this book, We're Gonna Need More Wine, by Gabrielle Union, and the follow-up book is You Got Anything Stronger. I think that this is going to be a continuation of sorts of this. This is sort of a collection of short memoir stories and essays about her life, Gabrielle Union's life, and it's witty, it's charming, it's heartbreaking. Don't want to spoil it too much, but like, she has been through some shit in her life, and she talks about it and writes about it with openness and compassion and vulnerability and strength, and I really enjoyed this book, and so I'm looking forward to reading her next book, which is coming out later this year. Biggest disappointment so far of 2021, if you've been paying attention, you'll know. The Conductors. The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This is one of the books that I picked up, and I was very excited about it. Just the day I learned about it, immediately ordered it off of Amazon, which I've been trying not to do stuff like that. I've been trying to be more intentionful. Is that a word? Have more intention with the money that I spend on books and not filling my house up with books. unless I'm really certain, and I bought this one on a whim, and it wasn't that great. I won't go into it too much because I just covered this in a wrap-up video. It feels like a day ago, but yeah, this was disappointing for me, and this book, it will soon make its way to a little free library near me, or Goodwill or something. Maybe someone else will enjoy it more than I did. So the next prompt, the book, I don't have a physical copy of this. I checked it out from the library on my Kindle, and that would be the biggest surprise of 2021, which would be Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark. So this book is a book that I read prior to starting this YouTube channel. It is the story of some women who fight members of the Ku Klux Klan who are not what they seem they are because they're not human. And I was really surprised by this novel because I thought, why not just talk about taking on the Ku Klux Klan? But also the image on the front, I guess I'll do the thing where I put it up here. The image on the front is someone in the Ku Klux Klan robe, and it just didn't really strike me as like a fantasy novel, but that's what it is. There is magic. These are obviously not humans, but they are mixing in with the regular Ku Klux Klan that are the racist humans, and sort of taking advantage of them. So it really knocked my socks off, and I wasn't expecting it, and it was great. And I learned a lot about the culture of Blacks from South Carolina, which, if you don't know much about that, there is obviously a complete and utter lack of teaching in American schools about the cultures of the folks that were brought here against their will and their descendants. And so that is one of the things that I love about books that are set in the past, or historical fiction or historical fantasy. As I have said, it always opens my mind up to make me want to learn more about a specific topic, a specific period of time, or a specific instance, a historical event that I was not informed of in my neglectful American U.S. history courses of my entire life. But now that's on me, and so this was a good way to sort of learn more about that. If you would like to see me do a full video about that book and the things I learned, leave a comment in the description, or leave a comment below, and I will work on it. The next prompt is favorite new author, either a debut or a new to me, and that would be C. Davies Akungboa, Son of the Storm. I just finished reading this, and I have not done my full wrap-up that includes this book yet, but suffice to say, I enjoyed it. And so I'm looking forward to giving more information and a better review of this book then. But just know that I really liked this one, and keep an eye out for that review. The next prompt is the newest fictional crush. I kind of had to stretch this one. I haven't really had like a full-blown Twitter-pated, pounding in my chest sort of crush on any of the characters that I've read this year, but if I had to pick one, I would say that that would be Chiala from Black Sun. If you'll remember, I did read this a couple months ago and did a wrap-up of it, and it is the first in a series by Rebecca Roanhouse, and it centers around several characters, one of whom is Chiala, who is a captain of a boat who is hired to take a passenger across the sea in a mythical world that is based on pre-Columbian South American myth, and she is a teak, which is a mysterious race of people, and she is pansexual. So she just is the kind of character and the kind of person that, like, I can't decide whether I want to be them or be with them. So yeah, not full on like heart-pounding crush, but like I have some leanings in that direction. She seems awesome. And then the next prompt is my newest favorite character, and that would be Red from This Is How You Lose the Time War, which might seem kind of contradictory because how do you have a favorite between two characters that are not... I mean, they're so similar, but yet so different, but the slight variations, I think I do prefer Red a little bit more as far as Red's sense of humor. And since this is one of my new favorite books, I guess it sort of makes sense that one of my new favorite characters is in this book. But yeah, I would say Red from This Is How You Lose the Time War. Like I said, just really like her sense of humor, and I feel like between the two characters, she's the first to sort of begin her big change that she goes through throughout the novel. I am trying not to spoil this for you guys real bad, but again, read this book. It's good. Next prompt is book that made me cry, and I have to confess that I haven't read anything this year in 2021 that has made me cry. For better or worse, that's just, it is what it is. Book that made me happy will be the next prompt, and again, I don't have a physical copy of this one, not because I don't own it, but because I loaned it to my mother. Hi, Mom. And so that would be Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, which I will put up a picture here. And I just thought this book was so delightful and charming and witty, and it had everything that I kind of love. It had magic, it had fairies, it had history. It was set in England of the Napoleonic Wars and the Regency era, and had crazy King George in it. I just don't know how much more delighted I could ever possibly be with the book, and I wish I had the physical copy here so that I could be thumping on it, because that would make this a lot less awkward. But yes, book that made me happy in 2021, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. So we're almost done, but there's just a few left. The most beautiful book that I have bought or been given in 2021, and it is called House of Hollow, and I have not read this yet. It is a horror book, and it is just so pretty to me, and I don't even really know why. I guess because I really think that these flowers are really gorgeous, and this girl is really beautiful, and it's also slightly sinister in just the best possible way. So I have not read this yet. I'm looking forward to reading this. This is probably going to be a book that I read in October for horror Halloween themed TBR. And that leads me to the last prompt. This is going to be another one where I could not pick one book, so I picked two. Fight me. The first up is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And this is a book about a magical library where multiple printed books that tell the story of your life, depending on different choices you made, are stored, and you can go there and read them. I think this is a really great and interesting idea. I've heard good things. I bought this, and I'm looking forward to reading it sometime this year. God, so many books. So many books! That's okay. I'll do it. It's fine. I'll just keep reading. Everything's good. I'm looking forward to it. And then finally, this is a book that was recommended to me, House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. It's So this book is a story told in an alternative sort of fashion or alternative. It's not a traditional novel, basically, and so I don't know the full background, but there's like pages that are like barely have anything, and there are pages that look like a transcript and pages that look like they are taken out of magazines and things, and there are cryptics and things that are redacted, and I am really confused, but really looking forward to being unconfused. This was recommended to me by one of my friends, Eric. He brought this up when I was gushing about This Is How You Lose the Time War, so I think that this might be really good, based on the fact that what I had to say to him about This Is How You Lose the Time War reminded him of this. This is also supposed to be a horror book and is supposed to be kind of creepy, so this will probably also be something that I read around Halloween, so stay tuned. I will put all of the questions for this tag in the description box, as I did with the last tag that I did, and also the link to the original video, and that's going to require some research on my part because, as I said, many YouTubers have been doing this tag every mid-year for the last several years, and I'm not exactly sure at this point who started it. So I'm going to get to go down that rabbit hole in the next couple days while I'm editing this video together. Yes, I edit these videos. It's obvious. How else do you think the outtakes end up at the end? I don't just wait until the end and then say a bunch of stupid tongue twisters just to amuse you people. But I digress. So thank you very much for watching another video. If you have any comments, questions, you want to talk about my wardrobe, or, you know, maybe I made too many hand gestures during this video, lay it on me, as long as you hit the like button and you subscribe. And until next time, read well.